Elena nodded. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. Who was the man in Mateo's house? Why was he pretending to be her son? And most of all, where was the real Mateo? By midday, a woman stepped into the bakery. She wore a fitted blazer, dark jeans, and carried a worn leather satchel. Her presence was quiet but commanding. Her dark eyes scanned the room and landed on Elena. "You must be Dona Elena," she said, offering her hand. "I'm Sofia Morales. Luz Maria told me everything." Elena clasped her hand. "I need to know what's going on." Sofia nodded. "Let's begin." They sat at the table with Luz Maria hovering nearby. Sofia pulled out a small notebook and a phone. "First," she said, "I checked all public records in Guanajuato. Your son, Mateo Vargas, is listed as living here. But there are no hospital records, no school records, no work documents tied to him for the past 6 months." Elena frowned. "He used to teach mathematics at the university. His name should be there." "It's gone," Sofia said. "Erased. Or never there at all." Elena's hands trembled. "What about his bank accounts? ID? Anything?" "I'm working on that," Sofia replied. "But here's something strange. The man who answered the door yesterday? I took a photo of him last month during a town parade. He was with a woman and 2 small children." Elena leaned forward. "Do you have the photo?" Sofia pulled out her phone and tapped through her gallery. Then she turned the screen toward Elena. The man stood smiling with a paper crown on his head, carrying a child on his shoulders. It was Mateo's face. But the smile, the eyes, it wasn't him. "Who is he?" Elena whispered. "That's what I'm trying to find out," Sofia said. "But here's the oddest part. I searched the national ID system for his facial recognition. No match. According to the system, he doesn't exist." Elena's heart pounded. "Then who is living in my son's skin?" Sofia looked at her, eyes sharp and calm. "That's what we're going to uncover." The municipal archive building in Guanajuato was old, its stone walls lined with files that smelled of mildew and dust. Late that afternoon, Elena and Sofia stepped inside. A clerk, an elderly man with silver hair and thick glasses, greeted them with a nod. "We're looking for employment records," Sofia said, showing her credentials. "Professor Mateo Vargas, Universidad de Guanajuato." The man led them to a back room filled with shelves. He climbed a narrow ladder and pulled down a folder. "Here," he muttered. "This is the only Vargas we have in the last 5 years." He handed Sofia the file. She opened it slowly. Inside was a single sheet. Name: Mateo Vargas. Position: temporary lecturer. Start date: March 2022. End date: March 2023. Reason for departure: contract not renewed. Sofia frowned. "Just 1 year." Elena leaned closer. "He was there longer than that. I remember the phone calls. The lectures. He loved teaching." Sofia searched deeper into the drawer, but found nothing else. There should be at least emails, evaluations, paperwork. This is hollow. She turned to the clerk. "Could there have been an error?" The old man scratched his head. "People disappear sometimes," he said softly. "Not just physically. From records. From memory." Elena felt a chill run through her. Why would someone erase him? Sometimes it's politics. Sometimes it's fear. But sometimes he trailed off, lowering his voice. Sometimes it's because someone else has taken their place. Sofia and Elena exchanged a look. They left the building and stood beneath the fading sky. The pink clouds stretched like ribbons above the colorful hills. "Someone took Mateo's place," Elena whispered. "And no one noticed." "That's what's beginning to look likely," Sofia said. "But it doesn't explain how. Or why." They walked slowly down Callejon del Beso. The alleys were narrow, the walls close. Elena felt the weight of the city pressing in. Then a voice called out, "Señora Elena?" She turned. A young woman stood across the alley, holding a child by the hand. Her face was pale, her eyes wide. "I saw you at the Red House," the woman said. "You were looking for your son." Elena nodded. "Yes. Mateo Vargas." The woman hesitated, looking around nervously. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "I don't think that man is really your son. He has the same face. But sometimes at night, I hear things. I see things. That house that's not right." "What kind of things?" Sophia asked quickly. The woman hesitated again, then whispered, "Voices in a language I don't understand. Bright lights, even when the power's out. And once, I swear, I saw him bleeding from his eyes, but the next day he was fine." She looked terrified. Elena felt ice in her veins. Something unnatural was happening, and they had only just begun to uncover it. It was after midnight when Elena found herself pacing her small room above the bakery. The words of the young woman echoed through her head like an unfinished melody. "He has the same face. But it's not him." Downstairs, Luz Maria had gone to bed. Sophia remained awake, sorting through her files, her face lit only by the screen of her laptop. The flicker of the light made the room feel colder than it was. "I can't sleep," Elena confessed. Sophia glanced up. "Neither can I." There was a silence between them before Elena spoke again. Do you think it's possible someone is impersonating Mateo so completely, even his gestures, his voice? I've seen military operatives use masks, voice modulations. But this is too intimate. Too real," Sophia replied. "It's something else." That night, they made a decision. They would return to the Red House. At 2 a.m, the streets of Guanajuato were deserted. Their footsteps echoed as they approached the quiet neighborhood. The house, with its peeling red paint and shuttered windows, stood like a relic. Silent. Watching. Sophia raised a small camera and began recording. Elena stood at the edge of the gate, staring at the place where she had once hugged her son. The door creaked open. No footsteps. No shadow. Just the door, moving as if invited by the wind. Sophia motioned for Elena to stay back. Slowly, she stepped inside. The house smelled different. Cold. Sterile. Like metal. Everything was in place. The same couch, the bookshelf, the framed photo of Mateo and his supposed family. But there was no warmth, no personal touch. It felt like a stage. Then Sophia noticed something, a door at the end of the hallway. It was slightly ajar. She moved closer, her camera rolling, her heart thudding. Behind it was a room lit by an eerie blue glow. Machines lined the walls, humming softly. And in the center, a reclining chair. Restraints. Wires. Monitors. She stepped closer. The screen flickered to life. A face appeared. Mateo. But his expression was blank. His eyes darted left and right, as if searching. "Mother?" The voice croaked through the speaker. Sophia gasped. "Elena," she called out. "Come here. Now." Elena rushed inside and froze at the sight. Her knees buckled, and she grabbed the doorframe to steady herself. "That's my son," she whispered. On the screen, the image blinked. "They took me. They made him." The screen went dark. Sophia turned to the chair. It was empty, but still warm. "Elena, we have to go. Now." They fled the house, the door slamming shut behind them with a force that shook the frame. Outside, Elena clutched Sophia's arm. "He's alive," she said, her voice shaking. "Somewhere, he's alive." Sophia nodded, already dialing a number on her phone. "And someone's gone through great effort to hide him." 2 days later, a lead came from the unlikeliest of sources, a retired train operator named Jacinto, who had overheard Elena's story in the market square. He approached her quietly while she was buying tamales, his eyes sharp beneath the brim of his sun-bleached hat. "I used to drive cargo trains through the mountains," he said. "Past La Canada. There's a tunnel there. Always sealed. No one ever told me what was inside, but the guards were military. Not police. I saw your son's face once. Or someone who looked just like him. Hauled in like cargo." Elena's stomach turned. They met Sophia at a quiet cafe near the plaza and relayed Jacinto's story. Sophia pulled out her map. "La Canada, it's mostly abandoned land now. Old mining area. But if there's a sealed tunnel and military guards, it could be a black site, a place off the books." "Can we go there?" Elena asked. We can try, Sophia said. But if we're right, it won't be safe. By dusk, they were winding up the mountain in Jacinto's truck. The road was narrow, carved into the rocky hillside, and the further they drove, the worse it got. Potholes, loose gravel, steep drops with no barriers. At the top, just beyond a bend, the tunnel emerged from the mountain like the mouth of some buried giant. It was steel-gated, covered in rust, and chained shut. But fresh tire tracks told another story. They waited until nightfall. Then Sophia produced bolt cutters from her bag. "Elena, are you sure about this?" she asked. "I have to be," Elena said. "He's in there." "I know it." They cut through the chains. The gate groaned open. Inside, it was pitch black. Cold air rushed out like breath from an ancient lung. They stepped inside, torches cutting thin beams through the dark. The tunnel was lined with cables. A faint hum echoed, deeper in. Then came a soft light. A checkpoint. Empty. They passed it, hearts pounding. Then, from deeper inside, came a low mechanical whir. A sliding door. Voices, speaking softly in a language Elena couldn't understand. Something metallic clanged. Suddenly, footsteps. Sophia pulled Elena into a dark alcove. Two figures in uniform passed, not military, not police. Their insignias were foreign. One of them carried a tablet. On the screen, a file labeled Subject V. 13, Vargas, Mateo. Elena's breath caught in her throat. They waited until the men passed, then hurried in the opposite direction. Further down, the tunnel opened into a massive underground facility. Rows of cells. Chairs like the one they had seen in the Red House. And then, behind a glass door, seated and shackled, was a man. Elena pressed her hand to the glass. Mateo. He looked up. His eyes, though tired and hollow, widened. Elena? It was his voice. Soft. Fragile. "I'm here," she whispered. But just as Sophia moved to open the door, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. And suddenly, the entire mountain was awake. The alarm's shrill wail filled every corner of the underground complex. Red strobes pulsed like a heartbeat, casting Elena's face in flashes of panic and resolve. Sophia grabbed her arm. "We have 30 seconds before they lock this entire place down." Elena looked at Mateo through the glass, chained and trembling. "I'm not leaving him." Sophia didn't argue. She pulled out a slim tool from her jacket, a signal jammer, and override. She connected it to the door's lock panel. The numbers flashed red, then green. With a hiss, the door opened. Elena rushed in. Mateo recoiled, uncertain, until her arms wrapped around him. "It's really me," she whispered. "I'm your mother." His head rested on her shoulder. He was thinner than she remembered, older, somehow broken. "Can you walk?" she asked. He nodded, though his legs buckled slightly. Sophia supported his other side. "Let's go."
"Now," she said.
They navigated through back corridors Sophia had memorized from her brief glimpse at the guard's route. The facility was waking up. Boots thundered in the halls, doors slammed shut, orders barked in a language neither Elena nor Mateo understood. They found a service lift. It groaned to life, slowly crawling upward. Halfway through, the power cut. Total darkness. For a second, Elena thought it was over. But then the emergency lights kicked in. The lift jolted and moved again, just enough to get them to the surface. They emerged in a metal shed camouflaged by rocks and brush. Cold night air hit their faces. A searchlight sliced through the sky nearby. Dogs barked in the distance. "Run!" Sophia shouted. They sprinted down the hill, staying low among the cacti and dry grass. Elena's heart pounded. Behind them, engines roared to life. The black jeeps had found the broken gate. Shots rang out. Sophia ducked. Faster. They reached Jacinto's truck, hidden under a tarp of branches. Mateo collapsed in the back, his breath shallow. Elena climbed in after him, pulling the tarp over. Sophia jumped into the driver's seat. "Hold on." The truck roared down the path, bouncing over rocks and potholes. Behind them, headlights appeared, 3 vehicles in pursuit. Then, from the back seat, Mateo spoke. "Left." Down the gorge. There's a mine shaft. Shortcut. You remember that? Elena asked, startled. I wasn't always locked up, he said weakly. I watched. I waited. Sophia took the turn. The path narrowed, then dipped sharply. One of the jeeps tried to follow, and flipped on the loose gravel. They kept going, the other vehicles losing speed on the rough terrain. After 10 more minutes of silence and bumping darkness, they reached a cluster of abandoned shacks. Sophia stopped the truck. No headlights. No voices. Just the sound of wind. They were alone. Mateo coughed. They'll come. They always come. Sophia checked her phone. We have a window. Maybe a day. Maybe less. Elena looked at her son. They had escaped. But the nightmare wasn't over. Not yet. The abandoned shack was no more than crumbling timber and rusted nails, but it offered shelter. Inside, Sophia laid Mateo down on a stack of old blankets. Elena knelt beside him, brushing the hair from his forehead. He flinched. It's all right, she whispered. No one's going to hurt you now. Mateo looked at her, his expression blank at first, then slowly. The corners of his mouth trembled. You came for me. Tears welled in her eyes. Of course I did. Always. Sophia stood watch at the shattered window, scanning the dark horizon for movement. We can't stay here long. I've sent a message to a contact, someone I trust. If he replies, we'll have a way out of the country. Mateo stirred. They won't let you leave. They have people in airports, borders. Names don't matter, faces do. We'll find a way, Elena said. You rest now. But Mateo wasn't resting. His gaze drifted to the ceiling. It wasn't just me. There were others. In other rooms. Different numbers. Some were children. They didn't scream anymore. Elena gripped his hand. Do you remember how it started? He blinked slowly. One day I was walking home. A van. I thought it was a police vehicle. Then pain. A needle. Nothing after that, for a long time. They called me V13. They said I was special. Special how? Sophia asked. They took blood, ran tests, made us watch screens. Sometimes they gave us pills that made us forget. Sophia scribbled notes. This sounds like illegal experimentation. Not just trafficking, something darker. Elena turned to her. Can you expose them? Only with proof. I'll need to get back inside. Maybe hack their systems, retrieve files, videos. Something undeniable. You'll go back? Elena asked, her voice tight with fear. I have to, said Sophia. If we don't stop them, they'll take others. Maybe they already have. Suddenly, a knock. 3 gentle taps. Then silence. Sophia raised her gun. Elena froze. Another knock. This time a voice. It's me. Tomas. I got your message. Sophia relaxed slightly and opened the door. A man stepped inside broad-shouldered, with a scar under his eye. He nodded at Elena, then looked at Mateo. He doesn't have much time. You all need to disappear now. I can get you as far as Tapachula. After that, it's jungle. We'll take it, Sophia said. Tomas led them through the darkness to an old jeep hidden beneath camouflage netting. Mateo was barely conscious, Elena holding him close in the back seat. As they drove, Tomas glanced at them through the mirror. They're watching the highways. We'll go through the hills. Slow, but safer. The road turned to dirt, then stone. Hours passed. Every shadow looked like danger. But they didn't stop. By dawn, they were close. You'll rest here, Tomas said, pointing to a safe house nestled in the jungle. Then cross tomorrow. Elena helped Mateo inside. His breathing was shallow. She turned to Sophia. What if you don't come back? Sophia looked her in the eye. Then you tell the world. You keep going. You survive. They embraced a brief, fierce hug. Then Sophia turned and disappeared into the trees, back toward the mountain and the truth buried deep within it. Days passed. In the heart of the jungle, beneath the curtain of vines and birdsong, the safe house stood like a secret. Mateo's fever began to break. Elena rarely left his side, bathing his forehead, whispering old lullabies from when he was small. But every morning, she checked the trail for signs of Sophia. Nothing. Then, on the third dawn, Tomas returned. He held no expression, just a battered satchel and a flash drive. "She didn't make it," he said simply. Elena's breath caught. Her knees gave way. "She was caught halfway in," Tomas continued. "Shot twice. Still managed to upload the files. She died in a drainage tunnel beneath the facility. Alone." Elena pressed her hands to her mouth. Tomas handed her the flash drive. "Everything is on here. Records. Names. Experiments. Videos. Enough to shut them all down." "And you?" she asked, voice cracking. "I get you to the border," he said. "Then I vanish." Elena took the drive and looked at her son. Mateo was awake now, listening. His eyes were calm. "She saved me." "No," Elena said gently. "She saved all of us." They traveled by night, crossing rivers and narrow goat trails. Each step forward felt stolen, borrowed from the clutches of a world that wanted them erased. At last, they reached the edge, a fence of rusted wire and a checkpoint barely manned. Tomas handed them papers, forged but perfect. "This will get you into Guatemala. From there, you disappear for real." Elena hesitated. "What about justice?" Tomas shook his head. "Justice needs time. Survival needs now." They crossed just before dawn, into a town with no name on the map. A woman met them at a broken cafe, with 3 chairs. She spoke no Spanish, but handed Elena a phone. It was preloaded with a single contact. The world watched in silence as the leak hit the web. The footage was undeniable. In labs beneath Mexico's hills, children had been kept in silence, tested like specimens. Men in suits with cold smiles. Charts. Injections. Screams. Then names. Officials. Doctors. Generals. Elena sat in the cafe, watching it unfold. She did not smile. She did not cry. She just watched. Mateo held her hand, strong now, eyes sharp. "They'll come for us." "They'll try," she replied. The world stirred. But in that nameless village, mother and son disappeared once more. No names. Only the truth.